YouTube wants viewers to pay for our content, while X has decided they own our content. Instagram wants more content. Google is scrapping some of our content, and Canva is just trying to help us make more content for the other four. This is the Act 18 show. Hey, I'm Jason, faith-based entrepreneur and marketing geek. Timestamps and sources below, along with a link to today's sponsor, our Funnel Launch Kit. It has our best performing landing pages, sales pages, and upsell pages, as well as a full done-for-you email template sequence, as well as a course framework to help you go from idea to sales in just a few days using 100% free software. Link in the cards and the description to learn more. Now, when it comes to YouTube, most people don't want to pay for it, right? A lot of us have gotten used to just watching YouTube for free and those annoying ads that just keep getting longer and longer and longer. And I say that as someone who runs YouTube ads. But I digress. YouTube is now experimenting with a premium Lite version. So for about $6 US, you'll be able to watch YouTube with limited ads, whatever that means, but you won't be able to have access to YouTube Music or download YouTube videos offline like you would with the full Pro version. Now, for me, I think this is awesome. I think it's a win for creators, and it's definitely a win if you like watching YouTube videos and you don't want to have to pay $13 a month because they've bundled in YouTube Music that I don't think anybody wants. Comment below if you really like YouTube Music over Spotify or Apple Music, but I venture to guess that most people would rather just have YouTube without ads and pay less than have to pay for YouTube Music as well. And surprisingly, there's actually evidence that this will work. I initially thought most people are going to look at that and go, well, there's still ads, so why would I pay? Well, Netflix and Hulu have both have plans where it's called Ad Lite. And Netflix in particular, they actually had some experiments with a $6.99 plan, and they wound up making more per user from a revenue perspective with someone who was on the $6.99 plan plus a few ads versus people who were paying like the $12.99 or $15 or $16.99 a month. So there's definitely not only a path here for revenue for creators and YouTube to keep going with an ad-lite version, but there's also already proof in terms of Disney Plus, Netflix, and Hulu to show that there are enough consumers who are willing to pay for it that it does in fact make it profitable. So I think this is awesome because the more we can have viewers directly supporting the creators they enjoy, even if it's, maybe $10 a month instead of $6 for completely no ads, I think this is an absolute win. So I think it's a step in the right direction, and I do like the fact that we don't have to pay for YouTube Music, because that really bugs me. I never use YouTube Music, but if I could pay half the price for YouTube Premium and just have the Lite version, and I think the only asterisk here is going to be how many ads show up on the Lite version, right? So I think that'll be something that YouTube will have to balance, but at least we know the model works, and if you're a creator, this is actually going to be a good thing because it's more consistent than, ad rates going up and down on a whim, especially with seasonality of advertising. Now, next up, we have Instagram, who wants more content from us. So the head of Instagram came out and said, carousels are king. Well, I'm paraphrasing, right? But here's the deal. When it comes to engagement on Instagram, if you're anything like most creators, you've been very frustrated with spending all this time and energy on this short form video or this photo, or maybe you go out of your way to take the picture. I know as traveling, I'll spend like 2 extra hours going someplace to do a bunch of stuff for Instagram, and then you get like 10 likes, right? It's not fun at all. So at least now we know that carousels not only get more engagement, but they're going to be somewhat prioritized in the Instagram algorithm, and they can actually show up as reels, which is really cool. So yes, this does mean more work. Now, just in case you don't know, a carousel is one of those Instagram posts that has more than one photo or video. You can have up to, I think, 20 now. Even though this does mean more work per post, this is awesome because it actually gives you more opportunities to be successful. You see, the Instagram algorithm will actually change the video or the image or the graphic you have that's first in the carousel based upon what they think is going to get the most engagement and what works for that particular user. So, the first 10 people that see it, they might show the video that you have in the carousel. And then the next 20 people, they'll just show the photo, and then they'll go back to the video. And what's awesome about this is, as he laid out in his reel, these get more engagement. And of course, Instagram wants more engagement, right? More engagement means more time on the platform, which means Instagram is happy because they can serve more ads, which means they'll show your content more because it's keeping people on the platform. So I do see this as a win, because also when it comes to Instagram, right, we all know that it's not like you can do a ton of experimentation without ruining your reach, right? Like if you have like 10 bad posts in a row, it's going to take you a month or two to get back to where you were. So I also really like this from an experiment standpoint. If you're not sure if a piece of media is going to do very well, you can have a bigger carousel, and Instagram is going to be able to figure out which pieces of media in that carousel actually will be performing. So I think this is definitely a win. Now, speaking of Instagram and clarity of what's working, they are apparently testing a feature, rapid fire update here, where they will tell you why a particular reel is successful or not. I don't think most Instagram users care, so I think this is probably going to be a special feature maybe just for creators. It's still in beta, but it would be cool if Instagram starts giving us at least whatever their insights are into why a reel is working. And this seems to be a trend where Instagram is starting to finally open up and tell us directly, hey, this is the content we want for our algorithm, which is really awesome because there's a lot of potential on Instagram, but if you've ever tried posting content there, it can be very frustrating just not understanding what the heck the algorithm actually wants, or let alone what people want sometimes. And while Instagram is out to help us make more content, Google has decided they're done being the gateway to the internet. And so in another episode of Google Just Wants to Be the Internet, they are removing the search site links feature. So for some larger websites, if you searched a brand or a specific site, you would be able to use this little search box underneath their Google listing or the listing that shows up on the Google search results page, and you could search what you were looking for and go directly to the website. Well, according to Google, not very many people use that anymore, so they're just going to go ahead and take it away. I think this is just another baby step towards Google figuring out how they can become just the internet itself. So people go to Google, they get their AI answer, and then they bounce out and never click through to a website. So kind of a scary day for bloggers, but at least for now, we still get some traffic from Google. Now, this next update had a lot of controversy, and of course it's X. I mean, controversy and X seem to go hand in hand now. But I'll leave a link in the cards in the description to a deeper dive video that goes into the X unblocking feature, or the changing of the X blocking feature. So long story short, when you block someone on X, they can actually still see your posts, they just can't engage with them. And in the extra episode, I kind of go through why I think that this is revenue driven, where essentially they're just trying to increase engagement, and it actually can wind up working in creators' favor, depending upon how they use it. But of course, most of the backlash has to do with the fact that people are concerned about harassment and stalking. Although Elon did point out that those who are not very nice on Twitter or X, they're just creating separate accounts and then following the people that have blocked them anyway. At least that was his argument. So blocking on X is no longer blocking, so people can see your posts, they just can't engage with them. So at the very least, you don't have to deal with those people that you didn't want to deal with, but they can see your posts. And again, link in the cards in the description to an extras episode that goes much deeper into that. Now, next up, we have some much lighter news. Canva did their Droptober, and they dropped a lot of cool features. So I will rapid fire through the top 7, because there is a lot here. So number 1, they have a new integration with a company called Artlist. Long story short, that just means we get much better B-rolls. So I'm very happy about that. The stock footage on Artlist is much better than some of the libraries we previously had access to on Canva. So it's definitely a win. Then number 2, they gave us some better music. They also have an AI music feature that a lot of people don't know about. So if you can't find a song that you want via this new premium music integration, then you can also, of course, use Canva AI to generate music. And in fact, the little chime that we use at the beginning of this episode and then the outro song is AI generated, just because I'm getting tired of dealing with copyright and using, even from Canva, using their stock music. Number 3, they had some AI updates. They have a new image generator that is apparently pretty good. Of course, just keep in mind that there's quite a few guardrails on it. So if you're doing anything remotely edgy, you probably don't want to use Canva for that. And then their AI got some writing updates as well, where it can help you inside of Canva Docs with your writing. Then of course, Canva Docs got some updates. The main one being able to add drop-down menus to your documents, which is awesome if you're using this to create like a lead magnet or a worksheet for your course, or even an interactive ebook. So that is actually pretty cool. And I'll leave a link in the cards in the description to a full video where we go really deep into each one of these updates. I'm just kind of rapid firing here for today's show. And then to wrap up, they have some new whiteboard features that integrate with AI. I think this is one of the few instances where I see like where Canva has really pushed the envelope with what AI can do, because it's actually interacting with the elements on a design as opposed to just emulating a chat or generating an image. And then they have some new premium templates and business support templates like for your brand persona or your brand kit. And finally, they gave us all a shock by doing a deal with Disney. And so there are designs that have a lot of Disney characters that can be used by nonprofits and teachers. No commercial use rights whatsoever, obviously. But if you're designing something for your kid's birthday or something, Canva apparently has you covered. But they are very, very strict on what you can and can't do with those designs. Now, YouTube gave us some feature updates this week, and a quick reminder that there is some deadlines for some tax forms. So if you're part of the Google AdSense program, which is how YouTube pays creators, then you might need to check your dashboard to update some tax things, even if you're not in the US. Now, when it comes to actual feature updates, number one, we've got polls to shorts. Only to shorts, because they are trying to make shorts happen. It's kind of annoying how much they're putting into shorts and ignoring us long form, normal, I'm gonna just say normal because YouTube started long form, content creators. Then number two, there is a new super chat feature. If you are doing any sort of live streaming and you have super chats, you can set goals for those. And so when the goal is hit, there's this cool animation, and then you have to do whatever challenge or extra bonus thing you said if the goal happened. So if I ever give live streaming a try, I guess I'll give that a try as well. Now, if you, for some reason, like to use the YouTube app to look at your real-time views, you'll now be able to separate those views based upon the aspect ratio or content type. Most of us don't have enough views to look at that like on a minute-by-minute basis. I guess that would be fun for a channel like MrBeast, but for the most part, this next one inside of Creator Studio is actually going to be helpful to us, and that is you now have the ability to control the types of ads that show up on your channel directly from Creator Studio. Now, I completely forgot that you have the ability to do this, but if you go over to in your Creator Studio settings and then ad controls, you can actually choose URLs that you don't want ads to show up for. You also have just a general list of topics of ads you don't want to show up on your channel. And then you have this really long list of different types of products or services that you don't want to show up on your channel. Now, for the most part, checking any one of these is probably going to negatively affect a creator's income stream from AdSense. But if you're trying to like block competitors, or you're of course doing targeting a certain demographic like kids, then obviously you'd want to uncheck a lot of those things. Although YouTube does a pretty good job of picking and choosing what types of stuff show up. For the most part, I just let everything run. It's very rare that I look at an ad and go, oh wow, I really wish I had not helped promote that. But then again, you have to remember that if it doesn't show up on your video, it just shows up on the next one. Now, X is under hot water again, and this time it's because people are upset over the new terms of service. Now, there are two main things people are not happy with. Number one, we definitely, for sure, own our content. X's terms of service makes that clear. And X can do whatever they want with it, but we still own it. Don't worry. It says it there. We own our content. They are just licensed to do whatever they want with it. So if they want to use it to train their AI, if they want to use it in promotional materials, if they want to package it in a giant data pack and sell it for $500 million to another data company, they can do that too. I'm not quite sure what people are so upset about this, because Meta's done that, Google's done that. Heck, Reddit just opened up the floodgates and said, hey, Google, come right in. And Gemini's been trained on a lot of Reddit data. And of course, that's how Reddit got their rankings boosted on Google search. So companies have already been doing this, but of course, anytime a company reminds us what they're doing with our content or data, of course, people are going to be upset. Now, number two, this one, it doesn't look good. I know other companies do this, and there's a lot of like corporate, whatever you want to call it, malarkey, but it just doesn't look good. So here's the deal. X is, of course, relocating their headquarters along with a lot of the other companies Elon owns down to Texas. We'll get to why he's doing that in a moment. But first, the main issue with this new terms of service is it says if you have any sort of legal problem with X, you have to go to this specific district in Texas to deal with the case. Now, the issue isn't the fact that you have to go to a specific district, because if you read the terms of service for just about any website or any app, there's a specific place you have to go. In fact, if you have a website, you have to have a privacy policy and a terms of service. And in that terms of service, you're supposed to say the state and district where any lawsuits need to be filed. So for example, for our company, we have a specific state and a specific district that you got to go to if you're using our products or services and you don't like it, right? It's how we prevent us from being like pulled into the middle of Montana or something like that because we had one user there, right? So that's not necessarily the issue here, because every company under the sun does this. The issue is that there's a judge in that particular district who happens to own quite a bit of Tesla stock. So there's this perception that Elon's chosen a place where he's probably going to get preferential treatment. Now, can I say that no other company ever has done something like this and no other judge has been under scrutiny like this? Of course not. There are plenty of examples. That doesn't necessarily make the optics of this any better. Technically, nothing illegal has happened yet. Obviously, if the judge had a case and he was clearly biased or he didn't recuse himself when he was supposed to, then that might be an issue. So just from an optics standpoint, it doesn't look great, even though every other company does this. But hey, at least X is allowing people to still sue them, unlike, I don't know, another company, Disney, that turns around and uses their Disney Plus terms of service to get out of a lawsuit from a physical restaurant where unfortunately someone lost their life because the staff wasn't transparent and didn't handle some food allergies properly, and the surviving husband literally couldn't sue because they were subscribed to Disney Plus. So there are plenty of stories from other companies and other situations where these terms of services are just absolutely awful and wind up being incredibly unfair, and it's just corporate cronyism. So if this turns out to be the case, obviously we'll report on it, but for now it just looks really bad and technically nothing illegal has happened. Now, the final story here, I realize this has been a long episode, we had a lot to cover this week. We have YouTube and their real or filmed with camera tag. Now I'll leave a link in the cards in the description. We did an extra on this because it's so important and it's so freaking scary, because long story short, YouTube is going to start implementing something called the C2PA meta tag. Long story short, if you use a camera and an editing software and a storage solution and then upload it to YouTube, and each one of those devices and software support the C2PA meta tag, and you haven't used AI at all in the process, then you'll get this awesome note on your video saying filmed with camera. The point is to prove that, hey, this is an AI. The problem is now YouTube's telling us what camera to use, it's telling us what software to use, and then if we use too much AI or if we edit our video too much in the software, we lose the C2PA tag, which means we upload it and we're gonna be lumped in with all the other AI trash that's proliferating YouTube. So on the one hand, it sounds like an awesome idea, and I really do like it. There's gotta be a way to say, hey, I'm a real person, I didn't AI generate myself. But on the other hand, saying, okay, well now we're gonna control the camera, we're gonna control the software, the B-roll, the effects, the amount of editing you can do, I think that's pretty overreaching, and we have enough privacy concerns as it is. We don't need to upload a video and then have YouTube know like everything that went into the production, because they will know exactly where you filmed the raw data, they'll know exactly where you edited it, they'll know exactly what time you finished editing and rendering. It's just data YouTube does not need. So anyway, I'll leave a link in the cards in the description to a full-blown guide on that. Hopefully it does not take off. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. Please comment below and let us know how we're doing with the show. We really want to make sure that we're delivering stories that are actually helpful and valuable to you as you're creating your content, building your funnels, and of course, growing your business. So hit that like button, subscribe for more shows and marketing tutorials to help grow your business. And until the next, keep building the business you love.